Let's go over the bittersweet process of how I made this dress. But first of all, look at how cool these panels look laid out on the ground. I just love that. So how does one go about starting over on this? Well, the first step is to rip it all apart. And I'm really glad that I did this because I forgot how much of a mess it was underneath all of the detail. I really struggled with that red satin at the top. It was just terrible and shredding, and I kept having to pull the gathers up. I think the gathers were actually slowly pulling that velvet apart. And then I was uncertain how to attach the smocking to this white part, so I did it in a rather messy way and then added this strip of white satin to sort of hide the top. So I'm redoing all of this in a much cleaner way. But first, the nerve-wracking part of ripping this thing apart. 1.5 years of work and I'm just starting over. So there were two things I wanted to save from the underskirt, and that was the smocking on the front and the ruffle, the white ruffle on the bottom. I unfortunately misplaced the white ruffle and had to remake it anyway, but that was the original intention. And once I got it down to the petticoat, I also took off the petticoat because it is not needed with this dress. So the first step was to remake the underskirt. So I started with a circle skirt and remade the ruffle and the waistband, and here is the completed underskirt. Yes, it looks like a petticoat. It's essentially what it is, but it's going to get a bunch of stuff stitched on top of it. And I found a better, cleaner way of attaching the smocking after I cut several rows of it off. This is looking much, much cleaner. So now it's time to remake the gathers. So this is the part I was most terrified of because it was a lot of work to make the velvet part, and now I am trying to remake it in a completely different fashion. So if you want to know why I remade this, I actually have another video which I'll put up in the cards, and so I won't go into that now, but the fabric I chose is a satin from Mood Fabrics that runs about $10 a yard. It's pretty lightweight and very durable, and it does not wrinkle super easily, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely love this satin. So the first thing I did was took my original pattern for the bottom gathers, which was made up of panels. If you want to see how I made the original skirt, I will also link that up in the cards for you. And I have the pattern because I wanted more panels. My idea with this is to, instead of using gather stitches, I'm going to do my take on what I believe is called Austrian draping, where I'm going to use cording to pull up the gathers. One of the problems I had with the original skirt was the gathering threads kept snapping because the velvet was so heavy. I'd trip over it while I was walking around my mannequin and it would just break those threads. But this way, I don't have to worry at all about the gathers coming apart. It also allows me to adjust them at a later date if I want to, and gave me more control overall. So I started off by cutting out 17 of these, and I needed, I believe, 21 or 22 in the end. So the way I was tackling putting the cording into these panels without needing to put in any more seams into the front, I decided to French seam everything. So I started off by sewing all the panels together with the wrong sides together. Then I took some nylon cording and sewed it into the seam allowance, just securing it at the bottom of the panel. And then after that was secured, I ran the cording up the seam, and using a zipper foot, I stitched very carefully along the edge of the cording, making sure that I did not catch that cord in my stitching. The idea is that the cord is secured at the bottom of the channel, but then is allowed to move freely all the way up the channel, so I can pull this up later to make the gathers. And after I had the cording sewed into the seam allowance, I then finished off my French seam by folding all the panels over and sewing once again along the seam, this time right sides together, so that the seam allowance is now on the inside of the skirt and the raw edges are encased within the folds of the new seam. So I needed to be very precise in how I hemmed this. So on the edge of my fabric, since this does not go all the way around the skirt, I measured out a straight line where there will be one more piece of cording. This is to pull up the final edges of the panel. So this just got a rolled hem with this cording stitched within the channel that the rolled hem created. I did not want to line this because I'm trying to keep it as lightweight as possible, so I just did a rolled hem on the bottom, and because there's a curve to each panel, I could not use my rolled hem foot, so I just marked out the first fold of the hem with some tailor's chalk, stitched it all the way around the bottom, trimmed off the excess, marked it one more time, and rolled it up again. And this fully encased the bottom of the skirt. And then to finish off the rolled hem on the edges, I marked it one more time, rolled it over, ironed it using some cardboard so I ensured I got a very nice crisp fold, stitched that into place. Once all the prep work was done, I attached it to the white underskirt, just followed the seam of the ruffle, and it actually went under the smocking here, which I'm okay with. It's not that big of a deal. So then the next step is to actually gather everything up. You can see that I do still need to finish off the top of this because the raw edges are showing. I will run one more stitch along the top to lock everything in place. But for now, this is how I gathered up the fabric. So I just pulled on the cord, working the fabric up into its gather until it was all the way off the floor and draping the way that I wanted it to drape. And I had to do it like 20 more times all the way around the bottom of the skirt, adjusting as I went to make sure that the gathers lined up with each other more or less. And then once I feel brave enough, I will run one more stitch around the top. But for the cording, I am going to just do a couple back stitches separately so that if I do have to get in there to adjust anything, I can just seam rip the stitching around the cords and then make adjustments as needed. So next it was time to move on to remaking the panels. The panels are the bane of my existence when it comes to this cosplay, but they definitely needed to be reworked for many reasons. Again, it's in the video that I have linked in the description below. So the way that I decided to tackle this was to cut all of the red satin in the same satin that I made the new gathered part out of, which is a far more durable satin, as I've mentioned before. And I decided to stitch it to a thin cotton batting. Cotton batting is superior to polyester batting, and I will never go back. So after I had stitched the satin onto the quilt batting, I just got the idea of, it's quilt batting, so why don't I use it for what it's intended to be used for? So let's quilt the red. So the way that I did this was actually pretty simple. I used my drafting table to line up one of the edges with the lines on my table. And I have these diagonal lines going across, which I'm also using as a guide. So then I took my quilting ruler and I lined it up with one of the diagonal lines on my table, and I drew that, and that was my guide line. I am using a heat erasable pen here from Madame So. I ran out of ink so fast on these. I don't know if that's normal, but I did do a lot of marking. But if you have better pen recommendations out there, please let me know. So then using the guide line, I worked my way up to create my first lines, and then I checked it against a panel I had already finished to make sure that diagonals match up with what I'm doing. So I want everything to look the same across all 7 panels. Once I was happy with that angle, I then changed the direction of how I lined this up on my table, lining the very top edge along one of the straight lines. And then I used the diagonal lines and my quilting ruler to draw the next line, creating a diamond shape. And then comparing that against my other panel, once I was happy with it, I then had the task of drawing all of these stitch lines all the way down the panel. And then I had to repeat the process until all 7 panels were marked up. Once I was happy with it, I very carefully stitched along every line, trying to be as straight as possible. This process took me a couple of days, but in the end, I was really happy with the way that it looked. Once I was done stitching all of this quilting, I did need to get rid of these stitch lines. So I took a hot iron and I held it just above the satin and used the steam function to erase the pin markings. I wanted to be very careful not to press down the puffed up diamond quilt texture that I worked so hard to get. After that, I trimmed up the excess quilt batting around the edges, and it was time to move on to the part that I was absolutely dreading the most, and that is harvesting the appliques out of the old panels. I hated the old panels in the end. They were not durable, they wrinkled, you can't iron them. There's many reasons, again, in the video I mentioned before, but the appliques were fine. These appliques took me 4 months to embroider and bead, so there was no way that I wanted to start over on those. So to harvest these, I first separated the panels from each other, and then I determined a distance from the applique that I needed to cut. Because there's beading around the edges of the applique, I knew I had to keep some of the old red satin around it as a border. Otherwise, I would risk losing and having to redo some of the beading, and I did not want to do that. So I measured all the way around the applique of where I wanted to cut with a heat erase pen. Then very stressfully, I cut out the applique. This felt horrible, but I did it. And then I did it again and again and again. And I wound up actually cutting out the appliques a much more rough fashion before I trimmed them down to the size I wanted them to be. It just went a lot faster this way. But after I had all 7 appliques removed, it was time to attach these to the quilted pieces. And to do this, I actually wanted to add a little bit more fluff to the back of these so that they raised up against the quilted panel. Stitched them to a bit of cotton batting, trimmed that up, and then pinned it to the quilted pieces, very carefully stitched around the edge. This added a nice puffing effect that I really liked. And then I hid those raw edges under some red gimp braid that I do plan to bead in the future to add a little more sparkle. And then it's time to start assembling the rest of the panel. So I cut the larger panel from same type of satin, just in gold this time. It's far more durable than the Remaking. I stitched that gold satin to a canvas backing before I pinned the red to the gold and stitched that in place. I also covered that raw edge with the same gold braiding I had used on my old panels, very carefully trying to keep everything straight and aligned, and then finally trimmed up the leftover canvas, stitched this to another piece of gold fabric that will be the backing, leaving a gap in the stitching on the sides so that I can easily flip this out after I clip my corners. I like to take a pair of scissors to push out the corners at the top to make sure they're as sharp as can be. Then I went around the edges, folding the border back into place and ironing it before I pinned the opening into place. I do still need to go in and stitch all of these openings closed on the panels, as well as finish up how they're going to attach to each other and how they're going to attach to the waistband. I am keeping travel in mind, so they'll probably be completely removable. I am ready to move on to the next part of this skirt. So here's the finished look of the remade skirt. I am also going to remake the front of the skirt, but that is a later problem to deal with. I have already started on the upper skirt, which I'm just doing in the same way that I did the bottom, just a slightly different pattern, and that will be in a different video. So if you like this, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe for more content from me. I hope you like the new design of this build, and I will see you in my next video.